很高兴今天有时间请到Daniel。我觉得对LinkedIn大家很有熟的，几乎都已经有看过，他算是蛮支持我们。从2017年我们就认识到现在，他现在终于产品非常完整的成功。我们今天有一个商表会，在商表会之前，我们先请他的其中一个co-founder Daniel，大家应该都有印象，来跟我们解释一下 SNGLRTY 比较特别的 OHI 单针表的一些由来。So now, Daniel, I mean, as I just said, it's,
hi everybody.
Yeah, so that's how it is. So obviously, we know about SNGLRTY quite well over the years, and now this is pretty much the official launch in Taiwan,
Right.
With the well-founded everything. So behind us, the product has become mature, idea born in 2015, and then well-founded watches are shipped in 2018. Right now, a year later, you recall a new and more mature, comprehensive range to us. Can you actually quickly walk through in terms of how the idea and everything is all come about?
Yes, so if you want to look maybe on the collection, it was a very interesting development because everything came in for a reason. So nothing has happened somehow by accident. And when we were working on it, I said, well, I would like to have one model with a date function.
Yeah.
But when you use a mojo on the movement, then the date is always very low, on a very low level, because you have to look through the mojo onto the date. So like Rolex would put a magnifying glass on it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do that. So with the engineer we said somehow we need to bring the date from the movement on top of the mojo.
Yeah.
And that was quite a task. It was much more complicated than before. And because of this, we said, okay, we need to have two models. We make one a little bit more simple, and we call this OHI2. And we make the date version, which increased the price quite a lot because it's so complicated to do, to bring the date on that top level. So we made the OHI4. The OHI2 has no date, and we use the Sellita SW200 in a precision of plus minus 15 seconds per day. On the OHI4, we use the SW300, which is fully decorated. You can easily see with the Côte de Genève and the perlage pattern, and a precision of plus minus 4 seconds. So this is the way we make the difference between the two collections. I said nothing happens by accident because the way, in order to show our function with the minutes running backwards and the hour hand moving forwards clockwise, we realized, well, we don't want to hide the minutes. So we cannot construct a normal dial with some openings because then we would have section, we could not read the time. So we had to construct the dial, and finally it resulted into 4 different elements.
It's
just
different
on the
layers,
dial.
it's
Yes.
way more complicated than the usual dials you're referring to.
So what was maybe challenging construction-wise turned into a fantastic advantage. Because you can compose your own watch.
It's more, a lot more personalization comes into it.
Exactly. By choosing the color for the hour ring, by choosing the color for the minutes, the center, or the seconds, you can really create your own watch. And with just a couple, so here we can show just some of the variations.
Because it's quite interesting. I mean, the center days, even you can have a code engineer for different patterns of it. So, I mean, you can sort of have different, some people like code engineer, some people like code RAs, it's just sort of different patterns.
Exactly.
And then obviously color combination.
And then, so here we go just from white with the black minutes to blue with black with silver in the center, then an all black version. Or that's also quite interesting because we use a dark grey, which in the industry is called black gold.
Mm-hmm.
So the black gold, but then with black minutes and black center.
Very elegant in a way.
Very elegant, yes, and a little bit of urban to me.
More chic.
And then here more colorful with a white center and black. I'll just contract it so we can see it a bit better.
I've seen quite a few SNGLRTY over the years, and then you rarely see anything that all look the same. It's always a bit of different changes suitable for everyone else. So that's always quite astonishing when you think about it. When you put together, there are loads of different endless opportunity and the style you can choose from.
But when you add the Superluminova, we use the strongest grade of Superluminova. It's called grade X1. And when you add the different colors of the Superluminova that are possible, together with different strap colors, at the end we have a couple of thousands options based on 2 models and based on a couple of colors our customer can choose from. So we call this first simply singular because SNGLRTY is totally unique. Mm-hmm. It uses one hand, one singular hand, but in a total unique combination. We also call it C time differently because the backwards or the counterclockwise running minutes, the hour hand moving forward gives you another sense of time. It meets at one point at the present.
Mm. I really like the slogan you came up with, like life is one direction, and that's quite unique. I believe Steve came up with it.
Yes, that's correct. Hi, Steve.
I'm hiding over in the corner.
Yeah.
So on the other side, because we will talk about the brand later on, but remaining on the watch, so the difference between the OHI2 and the OHI4 is also due to the movement. It's the height. The OHI2 uses the Sellita SW200, which is a bit more thick. So we made this nicely in a way that we rounded the back. So the middle of the case is the same, but the case back of the OHI2 is more round. But then the sapphire crystal with non-reflecting coating is flat. While on the OHI4, it's the contrary. The case back is flat, and the glass is doubled up.
With 7 layers anti-reflective layer.
Yeah. And then we use different brushing. So we use, for example, the bezel is circular brush, while there is a small facet at the bottom of the bezel which is polished. This gives a nice decorative line. Then the case from the side we use 6 o'clock brushing, and then the case back is circular brush like the bezel, but has also a small facet which is fully polished. So it's like a sandwich from the case back and the bezel with circular brush, and both have a nice decorative line in full polish. And even on the screws to fix the strap, we use circular brushing, and then the end and the facet is polished. So there's a small detail on that small element.
Yeah, it's always quite fascinating because when I went through some of the, it's probably a lot of people to emphasize on the die, the single end of it.
Yep.
Sometimes you just don't pay enough attention on the case itself, but when you look at it closely, there's a lot of details going on. I like it's like the lock is very curved when you weigh it or whatever. It's a big die, but the button is actually quite small, so it's the weighability and the strap probably it feels right. I mean, I have not quite the largest wrist, but it fits well. Fits well.
No, I think that's absolutely right. That's why, sometimes we are asked, why don't you have a ladies model? But I would say currently we have a chronometer, we have a timepiece that works for ladies and for men.
Yeah.
Because the way the bracelet, the strap can go down, it also fits a smaller wrist.
The die is quite big, but they lock a lot. It just when you curve down, it doesn't feel that long.
it looks bigger than it is because we are just on 40, and 40 nowadays people don't call it big, but it looks bigger.
Yeah, no, it's
with the opening, exactly. No, I think for me, you know, I've created so many watches with different or 4 different brands,
over the years.
and a watch needs to have, how to say, a love at one glance, but a remaining love. That means you should be able to discover new elements, new views on it after a week, 2 weeks, a month, so maybe why not after 1 year you look at it and think, oh wow, I never noticed. This is quite nice. So that's the depthness, and sometimes there are watches in the market, maybe perfect, cool design. I like it, but after 2-3 days, it's flat. It has no depth.
It's hard to last.
Yes. So that's maybe also the difference between a flashy design and the still more classic approach. But the more you look at it, you see things are different. Like one more thing, maybe there are watches in the market with that kind of attachment, but they normally always do it with straight lugs.
Yeah.
And when we were working on the design, we said we really want to have the screws.
Yeah, it's more like Piccadilly locks. Most of them are quite straight and quite.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But we didn't want to have this, so we wanted to take rather the classic watch shape with the small curve here from the lugs into the case, but combine it with the screws. And most of the cases on the side, they would be straight, but we want to have it reduced.
I really like this. When you look at, I mean, when people have a chance to handle the watch, when you look at the curve here, this part is smooth, and then the polishing, so one go, it feels nice to touch. Right? It's sort of brown, but you see the element of it when you go down here, the handle of it.
So like that's what we mean with discovering. You know, you should really see elements of it after a certain time.
Yeah. Correct. OK， 那我们今天很谢谢 Daniel 带的这么多表款来给我们看。晚上的长表会可能有一些朋友觉得已经没有时间了，不过之后有兴趣的朋友可以联络 LinkedIn， 不管是台北或者台中的话，都可以看一些比较不同的表，可以再探索更多一些单身表特别的地方。